welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming back, and if you're new here, welcome to the Moonies squad. My name is Julie, or you can call me Moonies, whichever you prefer. But thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. If you're new here, just gonna give you a little recap of what this series is. This series, I'm teaching tarot in regards to the major arcana, the first cards, the first 22 cards, and what they symbolize. If you're unfamiliar with the first major arcana is the cards that you see typically in tarot, like the Strength card, the Devil card, the Chariot. Those are considered the major arcana. So in this series, I'm just talking about what each card means. Each episode is a specific card. I talk about what it means, the upright, the reverse meaning, the ruling element, the ruling planet, and how to interpret it in your meaning and the energy that it gives off, and whether it's a yes or no when you're beginning. So if you're interested in that, and if you like anime, clearly, if you like anime, if you like spirituality, if you just like crystals and shopping, then definitely you are in the right spot. If you want to become a Moonies bestie, hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom. You can also follow me on my socials. I'm on Instagram most importantly, but I'm also on TikTok now a little bit, trying to get used to the app. But overall, if you want to be a Moonies bestie, then definitely just hit me up and subscribe. But nonetheless, let's get started. So today, Moonies, we are in we're in episode 4, and episode 4 today we're talking about the first tarot card that's linked with a zodiac sign. Now, just a little bit of background before we get into this. Like I said, if you're new here, if not, for my Moonies, just in case if you need a refresher, I do personal readings. So if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, the link is in the description to go to my website, and then from there you can book a personal reading with me. In that description box, you'll see the explanation, like how you write your question, what is it that you want to know, and how I do my readings. But that will be linked in the description box if you're interested in checking it out. Or if you forget, it's also on my Instagram. In my link tree, you'll find the link to my website, and then you can go from there. But that's if you're interested in a personal reading. Now, going back to the series, the first of the 3 cards that we talked about before were cards that had ruling energies and ruling planets, but weren't necessarily linked to a specific zodiac sign. Because remember, with the major arcana, there's 22 cards. Also, depending on how you read it, how you interpret it, some people start with the Fool, some people start with the Magician. I start with the Magician because on how I learned tarot, the zodiac, the cards, excuse me, have the numbers on top of what they are. So the Magician will have a 1 on top. The Emperor, which is the card that we're talking about today, has a 4 on top. The Fool has a 0, and I was going to deal with the Fool will be at the end. So it'll be 1 to 21, and then the Fool will be the last card, and then from there I'll make another video talking about the suits in the minor arcana. But in regards to the major arcana, now we are starting with the zodiac signs. Because remember, there are only 12 zodiac signs, I believe. So, yeah, there's 12. Sorry, I don't know why I, doubted myself there. I refuse to claim that, I don't even know how to say that word. That doesn't exist here. In this Moonies Metaphysical realm, that does not exist here. Sorry. Fight with the air about it. I refuse. But not every... So, as I mentioned in my last video, there is a similar energy for all the tarot, the major arcana cards, but there isn't a specific zodiac sign for each. However, though, for each zodiac sign, there is a specific tarot card connected to it. So today we are starting with card number 1 for that, and that is the good old the Emperor card. Now, as I mentioned in other videos with the design of the tarot deck, a traditional tarot deck will have 78 cards. That's what makes it a traditional tarot deck. That's what classifies it as a tarot deck. But in regards to the design and the theme, that's just based off the artist, which if you're new here, once again, I will link all this information down below. But the deck I'm using is the Reigning Rogue Tarot deck by Sam Sawyer. You can purchase this one on Etsy. That's where I got it from, directly from the artist. But each tarot deck will have its own specific theme, but the cards are, especially for the major arcana, the cards are 9.9 times out of 10 the same with the traditional tarot. And they really don't ever change the names much. The designs, they will have their own theme, but they will have the basics. So for example, the Emperor in the Emperor, there's always like a ram indicated on it, because the Emperor is the tarot card linked to the zodiac sign Aries, which Aries is the ram and it's the first sign of the zodiac. So this one, it has a deer, it looks to be like an eagle, and then of course it has the ram, and then it has the number 4 at the top. As I mentioned in my other videos, in traditional tarot, they would usually have the number at the top. Sometimes it's at the bottom or in the floating image, but it would usually also be on the card. So if you ever get a little confused and you're like, where does this card stand? Remember, the Emperor is the first card that starts the zodiac wheel, because it links with the first sign of Aries, and then you can see it at the top with the number 4. So that is the Emperor card. That's the design. Little things to piggyback about. Now, I have my handy dandy laptop for my little notes. So now let's get into how to interpret the Emperor when you in the reading, right? So as I mentioned before in my other videos, like I checked, this is all going to be in one playlist. So if you ever want to like watch it and like binge it or whatever, it's all in one place, organized for you to find it. But the Emperor is a very, very masculine energy card. So prior to the Emperor, we had the Empress, who's very feminine. But remember with tarot is that these are just energies. You and I, everybody, however you identify as, have masculine and feminine energies within us, right? There's passive and aggressive. People say masculine and feminine, passive aggressive, yin and yang, whichever you want to call it, but we all have both of them in us. So the Empress is feminine energy. Now we're talking about the masculine, which is the Emperor. The Emperor is a very, like I said, masculine energy. It's the father archetype, where it's the patriarch. The Empress was the matriarch. Now the Emperor is the patriarch of that family. It's the father archetype. It's ruled by the zodiac sign Aries. If you're not familiar with what Aries is, it's a fire sign and it's a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are considered the leaders in the zodiac. So you have one of each element. And so within the cardinal signs, you have Aries for fire, you have Libra for air, then you have Capricorn for earth, and then you have Cancer for water. And these are considered the leaders of the zodiac, and these are the ones that will initiate like the goal that needs to get done. Like they will initiate the task. And then you have fixed signs, which are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and then Aquarius, which your girl's a triple fix. I'm a Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, Leo Rising. So drop your zodiac and drop your big 3 in the chat below. But and then you have mutable signs, which are Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. So the Emperor, excuse me, I'm out of breath. It's really hot here in PA right now. It's like super hot. The air is super dry. But the Emperor is the Aries. It's the father archetype. It's the patriarch. It's authoritative. It's passionate. It establishes power and its structure. So with the Emperor connecting to the Empress, you're thinking about kind of like mom and dad, right? Mom and dad energy. Mom is the homemaker. Mom is the one that's nurturing, intuitive, connecting. Feminine energy is the one that makes the home. And then masculine energy, the father, is the one that provides and protects the home. So it's providing the structure, it's providing safety, it's providing the authority to make sure that everything is taken care of for everybody to succeed. So it's kind of like the breadwinner, provider, protector energy. This is a great green light, which I think is also interesting too as well, because the Empress is the same way. But the Emperor specifically is a great green light when you're asking about questions in regards to finances and career, especially when it's upright. We'll get into it in a minute about upright and reverse readings and how to interpret them. But it is truly like one of the best cards to get when you're doing a reading in regards to career and in regards to money, because the Emperor is the father figure, and traditionally in plenty of societies across the world, the male provider, the father archetype, is the one that goes out and is the breadwinner. It's the one that comes home, provides to have a home, provides to protect the home, and provides to keep sustaining the home. Right? And so it's when it comes to career and money, it's a great card. That's why I wear my little money ring today. And I also mentioned it yesterday because Think of it with like the Empress and the Empress in regards to the energies. They are very similar, you know, because one is more feminine but one is masculine, but the energies overall and what they exude, it's similar. It's basically really similar. It's just manifested differently and communicated differently. So when you get the Emperor in a reading, especially when it comes out in like upright in a spread, it's a really good indicator in regards to monetary value of determining success. So when you get the Emperor in a reading and you get a whole bunch of even some other major cards or minor arcana cards, they would usually reflect like a lot of positivity in terms of career success and monetary value, especially when you're asking questions of like whether you should go for a job. Great, because the Emperor is the initiator. He's gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done because we need to go from plan A to plan B now to succeed, to then go to plan C. You know, like the Emperor is the initiator, so it's a good indicator of taking action and moving forward and trying like things that are new. Like if you have a question about trying something new and you get the Emperor, it's telling you like put your sneakers on, tie them real tight, and get to work. So great card for that. So continue forward with like upright and reversal readings. So upright is usually interpreted as a positive connotation, and then reverse is interpreted as a negative connotation. I mentioned in my other videos before, I'm just going to review and skim past it again, that I don't think that there's necessarily anything positive or negative. I just think that overall reading reversals is a gray area. I believe that you should read reversals. There are some tarot artists that or readers that don't read reversals. I think that you should. I think that they do influence your reading a lot, but that's up to you to determine when you're practicing and you're learning your own craft. But I also view reversals as more so as internal work as opposed to just something negative. But when you get upright in a reading, like I mentioned, it's a really green, it's a green light because it represents strong. So very Aries energy. The Emperor is giving, oh, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna continue to do it until I win. Like any Aries that you've met in your life. Now we're talking about reverse. Now reverse, like I said, is typically inward in highlighting things that make you or the overall energy of kind of unstable in terms of like lack of discipline. It's giving power trip, it's giving big shadow but little man. Imposter syndrome a lot comes up with the Emperor, because when you have confident energy and your chakras are cleansed and they're aligned, or you're working to get there, or you're not, and you feel like you're blocking and it's affecting your spiritual hygiene and your emotional, mental, physical well-being, the Emperor in reverse will probably come out. And it's gonna definitely remind you like lack of discipline. Like you have a habit or whatever the question is, like there's a habit that needs to get broken that is holding whoever it is back. There is a big ego trip in regards to like excessive control, somebody that wants to micromanage, somebody that wants to like play puppeteer, you know. Definitely a very like power trip card when it's in reverse. It could be you. Usually when I reverse, I usually say, like I said, it's internal, or not necessarily just you if you're not the person asking the question, but it comes out. It could be either you specifically and internal work that you need to do, or something that's happening internally within like the situation and the environment of the question. It could be somebody else throwing evil eye. It could be something else that's hidden that needs to come to light, and things like that. So as opposed to the external, where it's like the environment, just the way things turn out, like luck, synchronicity, abundance, or just the way things happen. Usually reversals can mean that it's internal things, and like internally within like yourself physically, or internally where it's somebody or something extremely close nearby that's consistently around. But that it's reversal. So as mentioned earlier, the element and the ruling planet, if you're not really familiar with zodiac signs and astrology, the ruling element is fire and the ruling planet is Mars. Mars is the planet of energy, it's the planet of passion, it's the planet of sex, it's the planet of aggression, it's the planet of power, basically. Like Mars is that energy of like, okay, we need to get this done And that is really just like what the Emperor is really manifesting. Like when you have it in your spread, it's really heavy masculine energy. Sometimes with people that are really in tune with their feminine energy or their passive energy, masculine energy sometimes can be, depend on how they interpret it, it could be a bit of a pushback. There might be some times when you're doing a reading for yourself or for somebody else, and there's so much passive or feminine energy that a masculine energy card like this can really kind of throw people off. But just remember that these cards are not designed for like, oh, that's a man or that's a woman, or this is happening because of a man, or this is happening because of a woman, or it's happening because I'm a man, or it's happening because I'm a woman. No, it's just the energies of what's going on in the situation in regards to your energy and the state of your spiritual hygiene and the energy of like the environment and the overall situation. Sometimes you can be too into your masculine where it's exuding off of you in a sense of defensiveness, and your reading is going to call you out and be like, hey, you need to be a little bit more feminine. You need to tone it down. Versus where sometimes it's like you're too feminine and then it's coming off, instead of aggression, it's coming off as passive. And it's like you're being a pushover, you're not listening to your intuition, you're just kind of playing like, maybe if I stay calm and invisible, then nobody's going to notice me. And that's when like a card like the Emperor, very masculine driven card, is going to be like, no, I'm here, you need to get on your game, and you need to remind people that they got you messed up, okay? But my dear Moonies, thank you guys so much. Oh wait, no, I forgot one more thing. In the last part of my little checklist of explaining these videos, is it a yes? Is it a no? Is it a maybe? So it is a yes. Oh my God, do you hear the clapping? Woo, woo. But yes, like as I mentioned earlier, the Emperor is a yes card in the sense of it being yes for like monetary and foundation concerns, which it relates going back to the Empress, because the Empress also is a yes card when you're doing a yes, no, maybe so reading, because both of these two cards really, like I mentioned earlier, kind of give off the same vibe, but it's just manifested differently. But they really focus on familiar and structural stability, okay? So when you're asking questions about money, relationships, anything, honestly, it's really like, especially when it's upright, it's really like a yes card. Like it's a green light. It's like, it's basically telling you, you need to go for it. You need to go for it. You might be scared. You might be terrified. You might have no idea what the HE double hockey sticks you're doing, but that's okay, because you know what? You can procrastinate all you want, and think about how perfect you're gonna plan everything out, but it doesn't matter, because if you don't start, then it's gonna amount for nothing. You can make mistakes along the way, but the fact that you started is what really is the big takeaway, and that's what the Emperor is really giving. It's the fact that you need to start, and when you have it in a reading, it's really indicating that to you, is that like whatever it is your question is, whatever your concern is, whatever it is that you're talking about, it's like a beginning. It's the fresh, crisp like coffee in the morning that like gonna get your day started. That's what I can really, sorry, I'm just craving a coffee right now, but that is what I can say the Emperor is. It's a yes card. It's a beginner card. It's telling you whatever it is that you have your mind on, that you're thinking about, go for it. Start. You'll learn along the way. You're gonna go up, you're gonna go down, but as long as you don't give up, that's all that matters. So I love you, Moonies, so much. Thank you for coming back to this episode of Learning Tarot with me. Drop a Ram emoji or the Aries emoji in the comments if you made it this far. Check out my other videos. Subscribe, like, comment. Check out my Instagram at Moonies Metaphysical. Check out my TikTok at Moonies Metaphysical. And check out my shop down below if you are interested in purchasing anime stuff, crystal stuff, spiritual stuff, all type of random goodies that interest me, that I feel like might interest you. Check that shop out. You can also book a personal reading there with me. And yeah, I love you all, Moonies. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.